Hey, it's Maya from Crypto Cafe. In this video, I wanted to read a letter from the Financial Committee to the SEC saying that they would like to investigate him regarding the FTX situation because it just seems like everything's being swept under the rug. And it's like, no, honey, you have some explaining to do because how did that happen? It's like if that person, so you mean to tell me all these companies, you're telling them to check in with you. This company checked in with you, sat with you, had lunch with you, hung out with you. Y'all were like this, and all this fraud occurs under your watch. So, what difference does it make if a company met with you or didn't meet with you? How does that protect retail investors? And I do think there should be legal ramifications. And because of the situation alone, I don't even think Gary should be allowed to be the head of the SEC. Like, it just, to me, it's just like you're a lifeguard at a public pool. There's only a few people in the pool. You're looking at them and they drown. It's kind of your fault. So, you know, that. Okay, so I'm going to quickly read this letter. Okay, to the Honorable Gary Gensler of the SEC Exchange Commission. Dear Gary Gensler, on December 13, 2022, the House Committee of Financial Services held a hearing about the collapse of FTX. John Ray, the current CEO of FTX, tasked with unwinding the organization after its collapse, testified before a committee about his progress. We expect to hear the testimony from FTX's former CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried. However, the night before the committee hearing, mhm, mhm, Bahamian officials arrested him in anticipation of an extradition request from the United States. The Bahamian authorities announced that they made the arrest after being notified by the United States that they had filed criminal charges against Sam Bankman-Fried. Following the announcement, the U.S. Attorney of the Southern District of New York confirmed that he had filed an indictment against Sam Bankman-Fried, that the indictment would be unsealed the following morning, Tuesday, December 13th. The night of Sam Bankman-Fried's arrest, Gubert Grual, the SEC Director of Division of Enforcement, released a statement praising the arrest. Oh, y'all nasty. Praising the arrest and announced that the SEC authorized charges against Sam Bankman-Fried. On December 13th of 2022, the SEC filed charges against Sam Bankman-Fried for concealing his diversion of FTX customer funds to crypto trading firms Alameda Research while raising more than 1.8 billion from investors. Presuming the SEC Division of Enforcement did a complete investigation into the actions by Sam Bankman-Fried and presented the findings to the Commission for its review and authorized the charges. Yet, the timing of the charges and his arrest raised serious questions about the SEC's progress in cover operations of the Department of Justice. The American people deserve transparency from you and your agents. They do, because dear Lord, y'all playing games out here. Just, for those reasons, please produce the following. All records of communications between you and any employees in the SEC Division of Enforcement, including not limited to Gruber Gerwal, for the period of November 2nd to February 9th, referring or relating to the charges filed against Sam Bankman-Fried. All records and communications between and among any employees in the office of the chair, including but not limited to Gary Gensler, for the period of November 2nd to February 9th, and referring relating to the charges filed by Sam Bankman-Fried. All records of communication amongst employees of the SEC, Department of Justice for the period of November 2nd to February 9th, referring or relating to the charges against Sam Bankman-Fried. Please provide these materials as soon as possible, no later than 5 p.m. on February 24th, 2023. The Committee of the Financial Services jurisdiction oversee the activities of the Securities and Exchange Commission pursuant Rule X of the Rules of House of Representatives. If you have any questions, please contact Kyle Smith, the committee. Okay, so this wasn't the tea I thought it was. Essentially, they're saying that it was weird after SBF couldn't come to the he had and then suddenly released what he was going to say to the committee, was suddenly released, and then released on behalf of U.S. orders. We're trying to figure out which office sent those orders. So what they're saying is the SEC may have notified the Bahamian police and had him arrested and did not want him to testify. I think that's what they're alluding. But to me, I want them to dig a little deeper. it says starting November 20, you have to start when they started working together because the itinerary needs to be possessed because it just needs to be like what was the SEC really regulating? What were the limitations that they were applying to Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX? What processes did they have? And why was he granted special privileges and all these liberties when you have other companies begging for clarity and begging how to approach the regulatory compliance and asking how can I be compliant, what can I do to authorize this blockchain, this crypto-based company, these services, like what do we need to do? And you sat up with this young man and he's doing everything but compliance, all types of fraud, bank wiring, doing everything, but you guys are having meetings with him. So everyone needs to understand, like, I understand what they're saying is a direct charge, but they need to pry a little deeper. Like, I hope this is great, whatever. I mean, like, that's weird. The whole situation is weird, right? That proves that, like, they're all idiots, not idiots, but like clearly someone doesn't have control of the situation. But I think they need this is a nice start, see what they're doing, but they need to dig a little deeper. They need to see all of the recording tapes and conversations that like Gary Gensler had with FTX and what regulatory standards, or because we need to unpack, like when you guys say that you are working and being compliant with the SEC. So yeah, this is a good start, but the SEC needs to be fully investigated as to their protocol, what was their process, what was discussed, and why don't they have a system for regulatory compliance? Yet they have every liberty to go sue companies. What is the statute of limitations with their lawsuits? There seems to be no statute of limitations. It just seems to be the SEC can get upset about something and then double back and sue them. What? Like, again, it's like these lawsuits are not relevant. They're not helping. And then after a settlement occurs, we're still not developing regulatory framework. So it's just like we're suing and then doing nothing else. And it's like, what is the SEC doing with all this money? What are you guys doing with the money? The whole point of the SEC is to protect investors. Why isn't this money being given to people who have been financially inconvenienced by the lack of regulation in all of these situations? It just seems like they're just doing it to have fun. There's no direction and there's no results from this, and it's causing more issues because the immediate issues are not being solved. Exchanges having proof of reserves, separate balances from customer deposits, like all of these things can be implemented. Yet we're suing people for staking. For staking. Okay. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. SEC do better, try harder. And yeah, bye guys.